Hi, it's Heather Joy with Perfectly Curated Life. Today we're going to be making one of my very favorite dishes from Mexico City. Chef Gabriela Cámara, who owns Contramar, which is a seafood-focused restaurant in Mexico City, has been generous and kind enough to share her green and red snapper recipe. So that's what I'm going to be preparing today. I've made a few modifications, but in the main, this recipe belongs to her and to the people of Mexico City. So to get started on this dish, we need a parsley, and I have here a mixture of flat leaf parsley and curly parsley, and a large clove of garlic. This is elephant ear garlic, so it's extra big. If you needed or you had smaller garlic, you would use probably 4 cloves for this recipe. And then we have some oil. Her recipe calls for safflower oil. I was not able to find that at my local grocery store, so I have here a mix of olive oil and regular vegetable oil. And lastly, we will have some cumin, salt, and white pepper to taste. So what we're going to do to start is just puree down this parsley. I hope I didn't pack this too tightly. Let me take some of it out. And mix that in with the olive oil, the garlic, the cumin, a little bit of salt, and then just enough white pepper to taste. This side is not spicy, so we're going to keep the heat level pretty low by just using a small bit of white pepper. So I'm going to turn that on in just a second. But before I do that, I actually want to show you the fish. So I'm lucky enough to have a really decent fish market nearby with a fishmonger who will cut the fish to your specifications. So I have a butterfly and cleaned whole fish with the head off. If you don't have a great fishmonger, if you can't find someone to cut the fish for you, all you need to do is just use fillets. This has the bone in, so it'll have a little bit better flavor and moistness, but you can use fillets with this recipe with no problem. Okay, so I've put in all of the ingredients: the parsley, the vegetable oil and olive oil, the cumin, salt, pepper, and of course the garlic. So I've pulsed it a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit more to make sure that it's nice and smooth. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is how the salsa is going to look. Looks actually kind of like pesto sauce. And then all we're going to do from here is actually start coating the fish. So as I mentioned, half the fish is going to be green and half of it will be red. So let's start with the red half. So this is just some store-bought adobo sauce, and it has a little bit of heat to it. You could make this at home. I have to be honest, I was not inclined to do so, especially when they have such an amazing variety in the store. So we're going to add a little bit of salt to the fish to start. And this fish will actually grill on both sides, so we're going to start with the skin side down and leave it on the grill for about 7 to 10 minutes, and then we'll flip it over to really get those flavors locked in on the side that has the marinade. So we're listening to Mark Anthony, and I have to be honest, this has been a tough couple of days for me. Like throughout the quarantine, I've been fine. I've been actually very upbeat, but something about September being right around the corner made me feel a sense of gloom. Like we're going into shorter days, to more indoor time as it becomes colder, and we're still on lockdown. Like we've had an entire spring and now an entire summer pass, and we're still basically confined to the home. So I love Mark Anthony. He is Puerto Rican American, but in Mexico City they played this song all the time while I was living there, and they also have a French version. I think actually the original of this song was sung in French. But this is Vivir Mi Vida, and I just love it. It's upbeat, it's peppy, and it's helped me to get kind of back in that happy space. So that's what we're listening to as I prepare this dish. So we have here the butterfly fillet. And I'm going to start with the red side. And just kind of drizzle this over, and then I'm going to further spread it out with my little spatula. And this dish looks much more complicated than it is, and it makes a really, really beautiful presentation. So you have that in there pretty well. You don't want to leave any bit of this uncovered. So make sure you're careful and get it all over this beautiful fish. I have actually a yellow snapper and a red snapper. I've never had yellow snapper, so when I saw it in the fishmongers, I just decided to get one of those two to see how it tastes. This is a flaky white fish. And the edges here matter, just like they matter in everything, because you really want that red and green contrast to be pretty obvious. So you don't want to let the edges get pink. You want that to be nice and red like the rest of the fish. Isn't this song fun? How could you not be happy listening to this? Okay, so now we have the red side done. I'm going to cut you loose for just a second while I go wash my spreader, my basting brush, and we'll come back and do the red side, or green side rather, and then show you what it looks like as we're going on through the grill. Okay, so I have put on the green parsley based sauce. And you're listening to My Boo from Ghost Town DJs, which is a really popular song when I was in college. It's fun and cute. A couple of notes on preparation. So before you put the fish on the grill, you want to just brush it with some oil on the skin side. That's the part that we're putting down first, to make sure that that skin does not stick to your grill. Secondly, you want to score the fish, make little knife marks on the side of the fish about a ½ inch deep, so that the flavors can really permeate the fish flesh. And you're gonna do that both on the outside and on the inside. So I didn't show that to you guys before I started putting the salsa on, but I wanted to make sure that I made that note. So we have our fish sheets, both sides are done up pretty well. And now we can just get ready to go put this on the grill. So it's gonna go on the grill for about 5 to 7 minutes with skin side down, and then we're going to flip it over so that this colorful side gets a nice char on it as well. So stick with me for just a few more minutes, and we'll be going. Okay, so we're all set. The grill has been heating up for quite some time, so it's nice and hot. See there? And I'm just going to place this fillet inside down. Okay, there we go. Inside down. Okay. So, like I said, this is going to be about 5 to 7 minutes. I want to check it because the grill is hot. We definitely don't want it to burn. That tail gets in there. So I will check in with you in a few and let you see how things are coming along. Alrighty, it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to flip the fish. Make sure it doesn't get too done, and try and keep the integrity of the fish in shape. Which one up here? Okay, perfect. So we're going to leave that on for about 3 or 4 minutes more to make sure they can get those nice score marks on it, and that those flavors really have a chance to get into the flesh side. So I will be back in just a few to show you how this all comes out and how to plate it up. Okay, the fish is just about done, so I'm going to hopefully get this off the grill in one piece. Wish me luck, wish me luck, wish me luck. Okay, there we go. I'll give you a close up with how it looks. So I would keep this really simple. I made some black beans. Serve it with black beans or in rice, warm tortillas, and a few different salsas. You could either go back to our mango salsa that we had earlier this year. You could do a tomatillo salsa. You could do a spicy red salsa. The condiments do make a difference, but this fish is very, very flavorful by itself. Thanks for joining in. See you soon.